Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm doing a reaction to Can You Locate Where Your Mind Is? Karma, Occult, Mysticism, Sadhguru Adiyogi. So this is not the original thumbnail. I couldn't find it, and I think I maybe know why, and I can't exactly put the thumbnail on here. But, you know, if you copy and paste the title, pretty much it's going to be there. So anyways, this kind of got me kind of curious. Like, can you locate where your mind is? That's not exactly what's pasted on the thumbnail. It's something different. And I didn't really catch that, but when I read the title of the actual title of the video, it's like, I thought about it for a little bit. I was like, well, this is kind of interesting, so let's go ahead and give it a shot. When I meet people and try to be positive, negative emotion always seem to take over. I'm not able to keep a positive, exuberant state of mind all the time. What can I do about it? Oh, okay. When I meet people and try to be positive, negative emotions always seem to take over. Well, what kind of, the question would be for me, it's like, again, I have to be specific. Like, what kind of negative emotion? Why are you bringing that up? I guess technically that's the reason why they ask, what can I do about it? Like, have you, this is more psychologist type of work, but also I'm kind of curious as to what's a good answer to this. Obviously, I hate to say this. Advaita Vedanta, the solution is always to be, in a sense, enlightened, to detach yourself from your emotions, but the problem with that is that it's the how portion. So I can't exactly, you know, it's not exactly something you can easily give us. Oh yeah, it's kind of like, just drink water and you'll feel better. You know, Advaita Vedanta is not like that. It's a very long method that you have to practice, and you have to take step by step, and you need a teacher for that. So it's not exactly something I could say, oh yeah, the simple answer is yes, Advaita Vedanta, to remove yourself, to identify who your true self is, to remove yourself from your emotions, your thoughts, your the physical body and everything. But it's not something that's very practical because it's not a quick answer. Advaita Vedanta is not something that's quick. But for me, it's, again, I always go to understanding. Again, it's like every video, understanding. But it's true. I guess the question would be like, where's these negative emotions coming from? What are your thoughts are when you meet people? And can you think back to a time where you never felt like this before, and then what happened after that? I don't know. There's a lot of questions that you have to ask because it's just too general of a statement. But obviously this negative emotion is coming from somewhere, and we need to find it. That's what psychologists do. But the problem with psychology is that they fix individual problems. It's not an overall solution, which I want. I'm a centrist kind of person, so I want both answers. I want to be able to target specific problems that people have, but also give an overall with this philosophy of life that makes their life a lot easier. So it's a mixture between, you know, psychology work where to get, I don't know, paid a lot of money, and then you have Advaita Vedanta where you start detaching yourself from emotions so that you don't treat people like you don't get this problem. But this is a problem that has to be kind of rooted out because it's very specific, and unless they take Advaita Vedanta, they're gonna have to one problem at a time and then try to do something big. Hope that makes sense.
All you need to do is just be the way you want to be. How do you want to be? That's all.
I took that as a negative for it's like, oh, you want to be angry? So be angry. It's like, no. That's not what he's saying. I can't believe I took that the first time around. I think as people want to be happy, so just be happy. That's the second thought that came to my mind. I don't know why the first one was like, you want to punch someone in the face? Then punch them in the face. Like, no, that's not what Sadhguru is saying. Saying that generally speaking, you want to be happy, you want to be positive, but you're getting this negative thoughts in your mind. So, if you want to be happy, be happy. But again, you know, it's easy to say words. I say words. I say a lot of words. And this is why I try to make something practical a little bit. And the practical word for me is understanding.
It's that simple, but it's also that far away.
Yeah.
isn't it? It's that simple. After all, you want to be joyful, just be that way, who's stopping you? No, no, they're doing this. See, now, you don't want them to do what they want to do, but you want to do what you want to do. This is a problem. If you want to do what you want to do, you must also be okay with everybody doing what they want to do. That's the only way, because freedom is a two-way stream, isn't it?
The great rule that I have for that is the golden. It's not my rule. It's a rule that I picked up on, which is the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. So if you don't want to be told what to do, you can't tell other people what to do. Of course, jobs are different, and if you're seeking help, that's different too. Because you're seeking help or seeking payment. If you're seeking something, you must be able to accept to be told what to do. You're seeking money. You must be able to be told what to do to earn that money. If you're seeking help, you must be able to be told what to do to get that help. Outside of that, you can't tell anyone else what to do unless they're seeking help from you. I guess that's a pretty good one I just made up right there. Well, I didn't make up, but I came up with that just kind of right there with the golden rule. Nice.
Yes? Now, is somebody physically torturing you? If that is so, you come, we'll take you away. Because then you need to be protected. Nobody is physically torturing you. They're just doing what they want to do, they're saying what they want to say. Are they just saying just what they know? Isn't it? So, who is causing the mess within you? Yourself. Because somewhere you believe if you become angry, if you become miserable, it may pay off. And it does sometimes. If there are more miserable people around you who value your misery, it pays off, isn't it? Yes? If you act miserable in the house, you get many things. If you're joyful, maybe you don't get. Isn't it so? So you learn the trick. But what you need to understand is the trick is double-edged. If you're miserable, whatever the hell you get, it doesn't mean anything. If you're joyful, you don't get anything, so who cares? So, this is not just your trick. Everybody around you has always been playing this trick. And you thought that's the way. But what is it that you want? You want to be joyful or miserable? So just be the way you want to be. Does it infringe on anybody? Does it infringe on anybody? No. Now I want to smoke. If I do, now this is going to cause some disturbance to somebody. I want to just be happy. Is it infringing on anybody's anything? Is it, I'm asking? So you be the way you want to be, who's stopping you? You cannot do whatever you want to do, but you can be the way you want to be, isn't it? Yes? Can anybody stop you? Others need not even know that you're joyful. If they like a miserable face, give it to them. If they like miserable faces, give it to them, but you can still be joyful, isn't it? Right now we'll experiment, okay? Right now a lot of faces are looking joyful. I want you to maintain the same joy and look miserable. Do it now. Do it now. Let me see. You don't smile at me. Show me a miserable face, being joyful within you. You must practice.
That
Do it. See, this will be needed in your home. If you're all the time ha 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 ha, they'll go crazy. Sometimes they expect a miserable face. What's so spiritual about you, all this damn yoga, he and all? What's the problem? Action should be the way the situation demands. Have I not been insisting on this all the time? But you tell me, which is first? Your way of being is first or action is first? Which comes first? Your way of being. So if you say, I want to be joyful, establish that. Action, as the situation demands. Some people like misery, some people like laughter, some people like crying. Do it. I do everything. Please practice life in the satsang, that's why you're here. Encounter with truth, you know. It should happen here, not after you go home. What I'm telling you is, everything that you do is actually act, isn't it so? Either you do it consciously or you do it compulsively. If you do it compulsively, you think it's real. But actually it's an act, isn't it so? Everything is cooked up in your head, isn't it, whatever you do? So it's anyway an act. So do you want to do it consciously or do you want to do it compulsively? That's all the choice is. So you do it compulsively and you think it's real, it's a foolish way to exist. It's anyway an act, at least do it consciously. Then life will be beautiful. If you do it compulsively, it looks like a trap.
I'm wondering if what he means by this too is also something that I say, that I can't remember when I learned this. We have many faces. We have many facades, basically meaning many facades are like just false fronts. And what I mean by that is how you act in front of your brother, your mother, your father, your employer, and your friends are all different. The real you is somewhere behind there, a mixture of all of them, but not necessarily always completely all of them. There may be one friend that you're very, very close to which knows your true self because you're very open to them. But your father, your mother, your boss, your female friends, your male friends, you have different faces for all of those. We have many facades or many faces. And we act consciously and subconsciously in each of those things. I wonder if he's talking about that too, where, because if you don't do it excuse me, if you don't do it consciously, you're doing it compulsively, and compulsion is also something that you innately do because you understand deep down that you cannot act a certain way in front of certain people. You cannot act, how do I say this? You cannot act the way you act in front of your boss the same way as you act in front of your friends. You cannot act in front of your female friends as you do with your male friends, or your female friends with your parents, or your parents with female friends or male friends. You know, they're all little segments of who you are, what's restricted and what's not.
It's not a trap. Life is not a trap, because the exit is always there, wide open. Yes or no? Yes or no? Life is not a trap. The exit is always open. Everybody is trying to dodge the exit. No? So, if the exit was closed, only then you can call it a trap, isn't it? The exit is always wide open. One moment if you don't take care, you'll be dead. The exit is wide open. Your whole life is to somehow not to reach the exit. Isn't it so? So it is not a trap. It is just that if you think that your acts are all real, then it feels like a trap. Whatever you think, feel and do is your act, isn't it so? Yes or no? When you do not realize it's your act, you think it's God-given instructions. You'll start hearing voices. When you hear voices, it's very clear you need treatment. So, if you ask this one, this wants to be as pleasant as possible, isn't it? Yes? You want to know the highest state of pleasantness, isn't it so? So who is stopping you? No, but they're doing this. They're doing what they like. You be the way you want to be. If you establish your way of being, then whatever you do is just a question of the situation. Depending on what kind of situations when they exist, accordingly we act. No, no, I want to do my own thing. There is no your own thing. No, I want to become an IT professional. There is no such damn thing. Because you're born today in India, you are thinking of IT professional. Suppose you were born here 1,000 years ago, you would be thinking of fishing in the ocean, isn't it? Yes or no? Action is as the situation demands and offers, isn't it? How to be is yours. If you've decided how to be that way, perform action as it is necessary.
This homebound experience for the next few weeks will become pleasant for you if all of them go through inner engineering online. Because inner engineering online is that part. Inner engineering process by itself involves the body, the mind, emotion and energy. What we need to do with the body and energy, we will have to do direct because that's a kind of a transmission, that is not a teaching. But what we do with mind and emotion is a kind of a teaching that you can experience online. For most human beings, if the way they think and feel changes, you will see there is a tremendous change in their life. If right now, if you can think of what you want, not compulsively about something else, you would naturally be blissful. If right now you can keep your emotions very pleasant, oh, your home would be so pleasant. So all the psychological and emotional benefits which naturally translates into social behavior, these benefits are there. The energetic dimension and the physical aspect, well, that needs to be done as direct transmission, that will not be taught online because there are many implications to that. The Shambhavi Mahamudra, you have to learn separately, but inner engineering online will transform the way you think and feel. Most human beings think this itself is ultimate transformation. If somebody can think differently and feel differently and they become pleasant human beings, people normally start saying, he's a spiritual person, he's so wonderful. No, 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 he's just a regular human being. Others are still evolving. If a human being is conscious, thinks what he wants, not compulsively, and holds his emotion the way he wants, this is just a human being. This is not something, he attained to something, no. He's just a human being.
It's really weird, to say that if you can control your emotions and be the way you want to be, you're just a normal human being, And it's it's kind of sad to I think in modern day, I think if you were to say that, people say, man, that's a superhuman. That's like Superman or something along those lines. Like, he's superpowers. To be a normal human being is a superpower now. The world's getting out of whack, at least in the West it is. I just hope it's not going too far. But yeah, to control your emotions, be the way you want to be, is not a normal human being anymore. It should be. A normal human being is compulsionary. That's kind of crazy. Have we always been that way, though, throughout the entirety of history? Yes, we have. So, I don't know, Sadhguru. I might have to disagree with you there. To be able to hold yourself to the way that you want to be and to have control over your emotions is not a normal human being. I think these people who can do this are superhuman. Genuinely. Because throughout our caveman eras, and even during just throughout the entirety history of human history, we're all compulsive of stuff. Our emotions are rampant, clearly. But so yeah, I will disagree with you there, said Guru. I think if you are able to hold your emotions and to present yourself in a way that you want to be presented, I think you're definitely superhuman. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And if you disagree, let me know why. Because I mean, technically, I would 100% agree with you that that is the way that we should be. It's just that we've been failing at it throughout the entirety of human history, though. So it cannot be normal human beings anymore. It's sad that normal human beings are compulsory. We just act on our emotions and react to events.
Others who cannot even think the way they want, feel the way they want, there's an evolutionary issue.
Oh, yeah.
So this evolutionary issue can be handled within the family with the engineering online program and in the country and in the world.
What is the relationship between the karmic body and mind? Is karmic body created out of the action of mind? What is the relationship between the karmic body and mind? Well, I mean, the mind is the one that creates the actions for the body, right? When you think of something, the mind, it creates good or bad karma depending on your thoughts plus the actions. Is the karmic body created out of the actions of the mind? Karmic body, yes, I would say so. Again, I could be wrong, but this is just my answers. Because, again, karmic body, your body doesn't do anything unless your mind or brain tells it to do something. And your mind is where your thoughts are. And when you think of something and you want to do it, you think of it first. It's like, okay, let's put it to actions. Let's send it out to the body, and the body will do it. So your body doesn't necessarily do anything other than what it's told. The mind tells the body to do something. So yes, they are very much related. Let me see if I'm wrong.
It's not good to get into spiritual academics.
Uh-oh.
Spiritual process should never become an academic subject. Unfortunately, it has become for a lot of people. So, I want you to relate this question to yourself. Do not use these things because it becomes an academic subject now. You're assuming there is a karmic body, you're assuming you have a mind. No, I'm saying, you don't really know, isn't it? Okay, if you have a mind, you must be able to locate it, isn't it? Can you locate it? Can you locate where your mind is? Then you don't know whether it is there or not. See, suppose you walk into this hall, this guy says, I'm in this hall. You look everywhere, you go behind this pillar, post, here, there, under this bench, everything. You don't find the guy. Do you have a doubt or no, whether this guy is in this room or not? Yes or no? This is the way, isn't it? So, you look wherever you want, there is no mind. Now, this is not just playing with words. You need to understand. If you want to explore this must come from your context, from the context of your experience of life. Only then it will come out well for you. Right now you're asking an academic question, anywhere you go the same thing, what is the nature of the Atman, what is the relationship between Atman and Paramatman? You've not seen Atman, you've not seen Paramatman. Why are you interested in the relationship?
I wonder if he's just kind of just like truly academic questions. I would say for me it'd be just questions to understand it, so I can understand it better and hopefully be able to link them so that I can perform them better. Because you know, like I guess riding a bike, understanding what you have to do on the bike to maintain your balance on the bike and to be able to propel yourself on the bike, you have to understand how the bike works first. Because if you don't understand, then you're going to fall off, you don't know how to propel yourself, you don't know how to balance yourself. Now, you don't need to sit there and say, okay, which nut is that one? What kind of chain is that one? I think that's the more academic one, where you're like, okay, and what kind of angle is that slope up there, and how big are the tires, and the PSI for those tires? That's academic. But to say, okay, what do I need to do to ride this bike? Well, you need to balance, okay. You need to make sure you're in motion because that's the way you stay balanced. It's like, okay, you need to pedal the pedals so that way you constantly stay in motion. Like, okay. Then sit in a seat and hold on to the handles. Those are not academic. That's to understand how to do the riding of the bike.
Atman, Paramatman means, for those of you who do not know, this is a common terminology in India. This means the soul and God. What's the relationship? You've not seen both. How do you know they have a relationship? Maybe they're divorced? If you look at the quality of life people are living, probably they're divorced, isn't it? So, don't go into academics of spirituality. Spirituality is not an academic process. It has to be an experiential longing to know. So, what you're trying to ask is, what is the impact of my past on my present working of my mind? You tell me, can your mind function without memory?
I would say yes, because it can only ever act at the moment. You can never ever pull up from history. You can always… can you… I guess you can imagine. You cannot imagine, because you'd have nothing to pull from, unless you pull from the present. But I have a feeling I'm going to be wrong on that one. I have a feeling it's going to say, in order for your mind to function, you need memory. But you can… ooh. I think so. Maybe. Only because you can only ever react. But the problem is that you don't know how to react because you have no memory. So maybe not, actually. You can act, your mind will work for immediate actions, but it's not fully functional.
If I wipe out all your memory, would you have a thought? You have to build new memory,
Yeah.
Otherwise there will be no thought, isn't it?
You can have the thought for the moment, I think.
So that's a relationship. Without one, the other cannot exist. It's only because of the karmic memory, the mind is functioning. If there's no memory, how would it function? It wouldn't function for a moment. So if you have some esoteric idea of karma, drop that. Karma means just the residual impact of all the actions you have performed in your body, in your mind, in your emotions, in your energies. The residual imprint of that. So that is the karma. So without that memory, your mind couldn't even function. There's no such thing. It is from that this is all coming. Another way of looking at it is, there is no such thing as mind, there's just karma. There is a discriminatory buddhi, which is not mind. There is a discriminatory intellect. And there is karma, there is really no mind. There is a huge mass of memory. With a certain discretion, you can pick what you want. But if you don't have the discretion, they just run right within yourself all the time. This is all that's happening. This is all that's happening with people, because the discriminatory mind or the intellect has not been sufficiently developed or applied to, the past memory is running right. All the time it's going on. What happened 10 years ago is still bothering people because it's just going on. So, whatever ideas you may have, whatever intentions you may have, whatever ambitions you may have, the karma will overrun it because the necessary discrimination and awareness is not brought in. For this discretion, you need a certain level of awareness. Only if that is there, karma can be consciously used. Memory is not a bad thing. Whatever the memory is, whatever the content of the memory, no memory is a bad thing. You remember something horrible, you remember something beautiful, you remember all kinds of things. This is not a problem. The problem is, you do not have the necessary discretion to pick what you want when you want, isn't it? That's all it is, isn't it? So all the horrible things that have happened on the planet, usually only what horrible things that are happening, the news cameras go and take all this. It's on the film, it's stored somewhere in a computer. Is it biting you? No. If it is played here also, it need not bite you, only if you react, it bites you, isn't it? The same thing here, it's all just stored and kept. If you react, it'll bite you. If you consciously use it, you can use it in so many different ways, it doesn't matter what is the recording. What your karma is not the problem. Are you able to… do you have the necessary awareness and discretion to employ this in the right sense or not? That's all it is.
Oh. Interesting. So the mind doesn't exist without memory. Or at least from what Sadhguru is saying, the mind doesn't exist at all, it's all karma. Karmic memory. But I think the mind can work, but it's all just reactive though, so it doesn't fully function. Well, maybe it doesn't, because obviously you do need some reference. If you can… whenever I was thinking about this, I was thinking like a goldfish, because they say goldfish has like 3-second memory, but it actually has a longer memory. But I was just imagining something that has very, very short memory. But even then, having a short memory means you still have some point of reference, even if it's just 1 second long. To have absolutely no memory at all, you're just reactive at the moment. You're always living in the moment at that point, because you have no memory of the past. Not even a half a second of a memory, meaning that you're always here in the now. And well, you're kind of would you say at that point you wouldn't be suffering, because you would have no memory. You'll only ever suffer in the now. Like if you're all of a sudden your hands are hurting, you're like, oh my gosh, why is my hand hurting? Why is my hand… you'll be stuck like that forever, because until that arm stops hurting, you'd be wondering why it's hurting all the time, because you'd have no memory that it was hurting a second ago. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I was thinking like maybe animals, maybe they don't have memory, but they do. They can elephants can remember paths. Certain deers can remember certain types of noises or animals and react upon those noises. I don't know what kind of memory animals have. Like I don't know if it's just like remembering certain cues as opposed to actual memory. So like, do they remember when their let's say their children are born? I don't think they remember that. But I think they distinctly remember things that potentially are threatening. So if they recognize something, especially when they're young, they're able to avoid it. I think scientists have done tests on that, so there is some type of memory there, but it's not the kind of memory that we have. We have that kind of memory too. It's our animal instinct memory, or lizard brain memory. But I wonder if that would count as memory, as Sadhguru's talking about. Anyways, interesting. He didn't say there's no mind, there's only karma, because of all your karmic… I was going to say karmic memory, but all the karma that you've accumulated in the past, all your actions that you've done and thoughts and everything else. Anyways, can you locate where your mind is? My answer to that was going to be maybe like the neural signals in your mind. It's potentially your mind. I'm not sure. Again, I'm honestly not sure. That's just my guess of an answer. Is that the real answer? I don't know. But it's just my guess. So anyways, small reaction. Can you locate where your mind is? Karma, occult, mysticism, Sadhguru, Adiyogi. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.